Hey everybody. Look, I got two guys with me. I got Shibby and I've got Spooky. Hey Spooky, are you going to help us? Do you know much about digital data? You do? He does. He knows lots about it. Have you studied it, have you? That's where I get all my information from. I just ask Spooky. Where are you, Shibby? I'm talking to myself.
I'm here. I was just muted.
Yes,
I had to mute
here,
my browser.
our tech expert. I mean, like, you can tell he's a real expert at it.
I'm getting good at this now, yes. Can you hear me okay?
No, not you. Not you, Shibby.
Oh.
Spooky.
Oh, hey, Spooky. What's up, dude? He's a cutie.
Yeah, I've got another man here on my show today, and he's going to be more popular than you should be, I think.
I'll be your number 2 guy. I'm fine with that.
Okay, vote 1 for Spooky and 2 for Shibby.
No, there's no. I'll be number 2. I accept the number 2 spot. I totally accept it. He's way cuter than me, for sure.
I like a big competition. He's got more hair than you, Shibby.
He does, yes.
A lot more.
He definitely
he said he'll send you some if you
like. Just the bangs. I could use a set of bangs.
I need some of it too. I want a bit of his hair. It'll thicken up mine. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into this, guys. Usual disclaimer, I haven't done any of the slides or anything this morning because I had to go get batteries for Buzz Lightyear and Woody because my kids have decided they're obsessed with Toy Story again.
Yep, cool.
Yeah, apparently there's a new one coming out soon. So I haven't done any slides or anything like that. We're just going to pull up the Knowledge C data, and I'm going to try and talk off the top of my head and from some of the notes that I have written. So lots to talk about today. As I said, disclaimer, I am not a digital expert by any stretch, nor is Spooky, if anyone believed that. Shibby, are you a digital expert?
No, but I do pretty good with the tech stuff, but definitely not an expert.
Yeah, I think like I know enough, I mean, obviously used a lot of tech over the years and used a lot of the different apps and phones and things, but I think it's really hard. It's really confusing, this data, and it's taken me goodness how many live streams now to still try and figure out what's actually going on in the data. So we're gonna trawl through it because I guess I still see some areas that need discussing.
No, yeah, but it's good though how I just right before the show I just Googled iPhone 6s on iOS 10.2.1. Could it record video from lock screens and stuff? And it just says yes, no, so.
It can. There you go. And I woke up this morning and you were the first person I texted, Shibby, because I'm like, you've got an iPhone 6. Can you please do this for me? I was like literally half awake as I did that. But then I also found lots of videos on YouTube of people not only showing you could do that, but also showing you how to disable it because people actually didn't want that feature apparently on their phone.
Definitely, yes.
And
I first thought it wouldn't be available until later iOSs, but it wasn't even available on 10.2.1. And iOS 10.2.1 came out on January 27th, I believe.
Yep.
So if Libby's...
Oh, you cut off there. Shibby, you were talking? No, we lost you. I'm just going to say hi to everyone in the chat. Nice to see everybody. Good to see you. Oh, no, we lost Shibby completely. I think he'll come back in a minute. But, yeah, we're going to talk about that amongst other things. But I guess just to start off with, sometimes people will assume that if I agree with an evidence or a piece of evidence that the state have presented, that it means that I'm pro-state, which is not the case at all. I'm pro-truth. I literally made this whole website and channel to advocate for Rick Allen. I truly believe he's an innocent man, but the reason that here you go, Shibby, you're back. But the reason that I like to talk about this stuff is because accuracy matters. And there's no point, I suppose, in my perspective, there's no point us creating lots of rabbit holes to go down to support Rick if they're not going to end up proving anything. And I suppose, I mean, and I hate to be critical of the defense at all, but I think that audio output route change is exactly one of those things where they kind of put all their eggs in that basket, and yet that really, could be debunked. Now, I'm sure some people will still disagree with that. I think there's so many pieces of this case that we can focus on that could help free Rick Allen. Who's your harvest store footage? Lost tip narrative. The fact that he meets, he doesn't match the profile, the mental health area. Like, I think they could explain more and more about psychosis and how that looks, so that the jury or a new jury, could understand it better. What else did I have? There was something else I had on my list of things. Geofencing, of course, the geofencing data. There's so many areas that I believe could absolutely help Rick Allen. I don't think the digital data is one of those areas, and I'm all about trying to put forward what is actually being said in the data, even if I don't like it.
Correct. And can I just put one of my disclaimers up now? Like, say
Of course.
that although the defense definitely could have done things differently, I just don't believe many would have tried nowhere near as hard as they did. So,
No,
and I remember at the time, people weren't questioning them. So it's pretty easy for a lot of people now to say, but at the
exactly.
time, it was obvious Gull was just saying no to everything and anything. So,
Exactly.
I mean, I don't think many would have even tried as hard. So I'll give them that for sure.
I'm with you on that. I think when you look from afar, it's like whenever you're observing something, it's like when you're not a parent and you watch other parents and you're like, oh, they should do this or they could do that. And, clearly as a psychologist, we have this too. When I'm supervising the junior staff, I'm always like, how about you do this and do that? And I have wonderful ideas. But when you're in the room and you're actually being the therapist, you're thinking on your feet, and, you're not always going to have that same level of kind of clarity. And I think whilst, I've spent hours and hours looking into this digital data, they also had to be looking at the legal aspects of the case, which I have no idea about. I will never even try to understand the legal aspects.
Yeah, for sure. Because I remember at the time, not many people were saying lots of stuff they were saying now. So it's pretty easy
Exactly.
afterwards.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I think that the defense team really cared. I think they cared about
Mhm,
Rick Allen. I think they still
mhm.
do. And yeah, don't want to be super critical because, yeah, we weren't in their shoes. But I do think that focusing on that audio output or anything around the phone as being the integral part of proving Rick Allen's innocence is probably not super helpful, in my
No,
opinion. I
no,
think that there are more helpful avenues, like Rick's own phone data, that potentially could exonerate him. And when it comes to, I suppose, the second, obviously the key goal here, trying to get justice for Abby and Libby, I think that exploring the phone data can be helpful in understanding what went on for them. But I don't, again, think that it's about debunking the data. I tried to, don't get me wrong, I tried to find a reason that the bridge guy video was weird. Did it end too early? Was there more to it? I really wanted to see, was the offender speaking to them? Has something shown up in that phone data? But nothing has. And I'm just, again, trying to go with what is actually in that data spreadsheet, which to me does seem like a fairly reasonable data spreadsheet.
yes, oh yes. And now the one thing I'd like to add about the BG video, I've
Mm-hmm.
always had a small thought in my mind that the angle that it comes on, they had to turn it. They said they turned it. You know what
Yeah.
they do when they rotate it a bit to make it look straight? I always believed that it possibly could have been parts from a trail cam too,
Mm.
and maybe put on her phone or something like that. Because of an iPhone 6 that close in the middle of the day, my iPhone 6 is not blurry like that. And you could double tap, you can zoom it in, you can triple tap, whatever you want.
Mm.
It's crystal clear when you zoom it in. So the fact that it's blurry like that, and the fact that there was the stories of all that trail cam crap, and Brad Weber, I believe, would have trail cams all over that area. The
Mm.
angle it was on, I'm not saying it is, but it's always been a little thought in my mind that what if that was
Yeah.
a trail cam video put onto his phone, onto the
Yeah,
phone?
For sure. I guess it could be a possibility. I guess the other thing, as somebody who drops my phone all the time and doesn't look after it, I can say that I don't get very clear images from my phone because it's
Mhm.
totally scratched all over
Right.
the lenses. But you know, I mean, yeah, look, I think there's lots of possibilities here. But I guess for me, the knowledge C data shows them accessing the camera and taking a video, you know, like it's on that spreadsheet. And so I guess, I mean, let's kick off with that point because you already kind of raised it a little bit before, Shivy, before you dropped off. So the first, I guess, point that, and first of all, I don't want to debunk. I'd love us to all work together, but
Well,
sometimes we have no choice if nobody
how,
listens.
instead of saying debunk, why don't we just say constructive criticism? Like we're just brainstorming and talking about it. Maybe we'll learn more things.
For sure. And that's what I'd love to do. I
Right.
mean, this is why I go to all the other channels, including ones that, you know, are pro prosecution and are difficult to stomach at times, because I want to hear all angles, because that's how we can kind of get the best idea of what's actually going on, and also the best idea of what to critique about the prosecution's case. So, yeah, I really don't want this to be defensive, and I'm not defensive. If you guys have ideas in the comments, if you think that there's something different that's going on, always let me know. And I think this channel's kind of proven that we're not generally defensive.
No. And I just like to add, I believe 99% of us here and you are intellectually mature enough to uh, be willing to change our opinions based on new evidence. So let's just talk about it, anything and
Well,
everything.
I'm the first to admit that I have been a misinformation agent on occasion, because I have jumped into something without double and triple checking, got
Hmm.
excited and been like, look what I found. It's exciting, particularly in the early days. But now I've kind of, because of that, I've learned my lesson and I'm very cautious. I'm like double check, triple check, quadruple check before I put something out there. But I'm always evolving. Like even when you should be sent me that message saying, well, is it the iOS system versus the phone? I was like, okay, cool, let's look into that. You know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but like, let's look at it. I mean, we know I'm never wrong because I know it all.
Well, I'll read you what I typed in and I sent to you. And it says, I asked AI if you could, an iPhone 6S could record video from the lock screen, and it says yes, it was possible. iPhone 6S on iOS 10.2.1, which was the highest iOS available until March of 2017. 10.3 came out, so the maximum was iOS 10.2.1, and it says although not as a built-in one-tap feature, it was possible to record video from the lock screen on an iPhone 6S running iOS 10.2.1.
Shibi, I didn't hear any of what you just said, but I agree with you. But I thought you were about to out me. You were like reading out our messages verbatim, and I thought you were gonna read the message which said when you said you're right, and I said you should know by now I'm always right. I outed
Did I
myself.
cut? Did I cut out? Did chat hear me or did you not?
No, I can hear you.
No. You heard me, but it was too much info.
No, I'm just
Okay.
laughing. I'm making a joke. I was just saying,
Uh,
like you said, oh, this is the messages, and I thought you were going to read that, like the
okay.
message, the chat between us, and the messages I now
Well,
just read out anyway and outed
oh,
myself.
oh, that went right over my head. I was just reading the screenshot I sent you. No,
And
I wouldn't read all.
remember, I go too quickly. I know.
No, no, I'll save the other stuff as leverage. All the other stuff you say to me in the chat privately,
Oh
I'll save
no!
that as leverage.
Oh gosh!
I,
Yeah, don't
I get it
please
now.
don't share the private conversations.
I get it now. I'm trying to catch up with you. Your mind goes so fast. I got to pay attention.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm
It's
sorry. I
okay.
am the Energizer Bunny, as I said. Okay. Well, let's just talk about all of the knowledge C data and some of the things that I guess are coming out that I tend to think don't add up or match up with the data. So yeah, the first one being that you can absolutely record a video from an iPhone 6, an iPhone 6S, and subsequent models. You can disable that feature as well. But if you literally just go into YouTube now, I posted one of these videos earlier today. It only had 6 likes. This poor person had lots of views and only 6 likes. So go and like that person's video about how you can use the camera off the lock screen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I sorry,
So
I didn't hear what you said. Really sorry.
no, that's okay. I'm just plugging a video of some tech person who had uploaded how you can use the camera off the lock screen, and I'm just saying, go watch their video and give them a like because they only had 6 likes and it was 10 years old, but they had like
Yeah,
42,000 views. I'm like, come on, guys, show the love.
yeah. I know. I know. I guess.
Anyway,
We just need to start asking AI more because
I ask AI all the time. Like AI
no,
knows, like, but you do have to be careful because AI does confabulate. It makes up stuff. It tells you what you want to hear as well. So,
true.
yeah, my pro tip with AI that I love is double check, triple check. Say, are you being biased? You know, give it as much info as possible because it will tell you what you want to hear sometimes too.
Okay, so to clarify, we're saying that iOS 10.2.1 on an iPhone 6s is able to record video from the lock screen, and if we're wrong and AI was wrong or otherwise, we are very, very, very willing to change our
Of
opinion.
course. Of course. If somebody debunks it, well, I mean, the thing is, Shibby, you've got that phone, although no, because we don't know what operating system you're on. But yeah, I mean, for sure.
I
But
do.
I feel as long as I can remember. I mean, look, I'm a Samsung girl, but I have had iPhones. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm even doing it now. Oh, actually, no, my phone's not locked. But yeah, like for as long as I can remember, you could do that. Now, what you can't do is you can't look at your previous photos or videos. And second thing you can't do is you can't upload to Snapchat from the lock screen. But she didn't. She didn't upload it to
Ooh,
Snapchat. It was saved on her actual phone.
ooh, I just checked my iPhone 6. It's 12.5.7. So iOS.
Yeah. But regardless, I mean, I think that it was a feature on iPhone 6, like and 6S, and
Yep.
whatever operating system that phone came out with would have been
Right.
earlier than that, right? So I don't know when iPhone 6 came out, but yeah, it was definitely a feature, and it makes sense. Everybody, like, I mean, I know people still say the girls weren't scared, she wasn't recording on purpose, but when you start looking at those phone angles, and I'm still working on that from my little field trip the other day, I'm still going to work on getting the screenshots of the angles at which I was holding the phone when I took some of the sort of angles that you see in the bridge guy video. To me, it's I'm pretty certain that Libby was absolutely recording covertly. You don't
Mhm.
swipe onto a camera app and then kind of go like this and then kind of go behind your back. Like, I'd understand if it just was like wiggling around. She could have accidentally done it and be wiggling around, but it doesn't. She aims up, she turns around, she aims that way, she aims in front of her. Like, I truly believe she was recording that covertly. And then I think what's happened is that as she's gone down the hill, it's switched off, as it can easily do, as I showed in my field trip video too. So to me, there is no other reason that she would be recording.
Right. Now, the only doubt I'll still always have is when I do that same thing on my iPhone 6, I took a
Mm-hmm.
video of like 100 yards away of a tree, and then I watched the video back, and it's HD. It's 1180p HD. Now,
Yeah,
she could have had her settings turned down to
yeah,
help store more video,
yeah.
or I just don't like how it's blurry like that because when
No,
I
I get.
double tap mine in, mine is crystal clear, the
Can
video.
you could you do an experiment for us, Shibby? Like,
Mhm.
blur put like an oily finger or something, like blur the actual lenses on the back and then like take a video, because like I said, that's what happens to me. These here get scratched
Mm.
and blurred, and then it can kind of fuzz up the video a little bit too. So I don't
Right.
know, maybe have a look at that.
Now, yes, that is definitely possible, but I know myself, I'm very conscious of that. So when I'm using my camera, I always wipe my lens first, and I
Yeah.
guarantee you, young girls doing lots of selfies and stuff are very aware of that.
True, but not when she's doing the bridge guy video. So, like, imagine
Right.
if she's got scared,
Mhm.
spooked, she's crossed the bridge, she's held it in her hand like this. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, she's probably not going to be cleaning it before that video. But I'm
Right,
just
right.
saying, like, I'm just being devil's advocate. I'm not saying
No,
it's
no.
like you're
Yes.
only speculating.
Devil's advocate's always good. Yes, questions and conversation is always good. I'm not saying, yeah,
Oh, I think
we
you've got
want,
one of your friends in the chat, Shibby.
ooh, ooh.
This
I,
person says I have a butt, so I'm just
oh,
guessing that's one of those guys that you usually kick out.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's not so bad yet. I
I mean,
mean,
good on them. I'm glad they have a butt. I mean, we kind of need a butt to survive, so good to hear.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
if somebody,
It's not really relevant to the conversation, but that's okay. You guys do you.
just as long as it's
Okay.
not vulgar, I wouldn't really worry too much unless you guys want to get rid of it. I
No,
don't know.
I'm not worried, but it just sounded like that guy that you usually kick out
Mhm.
who says like you have bad farts or
Oh,
something.
that's another thing. If it's him, you'll be sure very soon because he's got
Okay.
20
Okay.
accounts.
We'll
Yeah.
watch this space. We'll watch this space. Sorry, guys, I'm not watching the chat because yeah, because I'm kind of caught up in this. But hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And Shibi, are you watching the chat better than I am?
Yes, and now I've switched. I have my alt account and I'm doing it on my Shibby account so I can be the moderator. But my
Oh,
alt account
great.
isn't a moderator.
Yeah,
So
because Hebby was in here before, but yeah. Oh, Adrian's here. Hey, Adrian, nice to see you. Um,
Nicole's here. Nicole,
yes,
are you right?
cool. And it's not that I mean I just saw Adrian and I haven't said hi to anyone else. Sorry, guys. I can see like names flashing up and then I kind of get into this flurry of thinking. So thank you, everybody. I've seen Silent commenting quite a bit. Critter
Yes.
Mama,
Silent G is one of my big fans. He's a good dude.
I can see.
I see him on Dana's at Rotting Jewels channel a lot, and I remember
Ah,
him from other channels. He used to come to Profs a lot, and he comes to
okay.
my channel and comments.
I've seen
So
Silent before in a chat.
si-
We've got
he,
Dom, we've got Charles, we've got Mustang, we've got C1 Day, we've got Carla Ann, we've got Sarah. I know we had Hebby earlier, Charlie Murphy, Four Pits. He's a nice regular here. Nicole Watt, our lovely friend Nicole. Have I missed anybody? Is that everybody that was in here so far? Emma Wilson, nice to see you. I think that's
who's
everybody. If I
who's C dot one day? Do we know?
not sure. Beasley's here. See what day? I don't know because it's so hard with these names, right? I was
It's
being called
Monday.
Amig before in case
Mm,
by case. Questa was calling me Amig, and I'm like Amig, okay.
mm.
I think it's because when you just look at these usernames, I think that's everyone now.
Well, also the user when they show the handles, it's all lowercase, so
That's right.
AMIG
That's
3060.
right. Oh, Pie
So,
Crust was in here too. I think I've caught everyone. If I missed you, oh hey, Elosa is here
wow.
too. Hebby's back. Goodness, we got a good crowd in here.
Oh,
So
that's all we need. Hebby's here. Hebby, you do what you gotta do, Hebs, and obviously don't get rid of somebody unless they're really, really, really vulgar or whatever. But Hebby's here, and we trust you.
Hebby's going to get rid of all our friends. No, only joking. We won't do that.
Hebby
Okay,
will
so
no, she'll protect us.
let's go back to the phone stuff. Like I said, I would have liked to have had some sort of document to go off, but I have got something on my phone screen, so I'm going to pull that up so I don't forget the things. And I should put the Knowledge C data on the screen too. Let's do that. Give me a sec. Share screen. Here we go. My goodness, the amount of times I open this document up in a day is extreme. Here we go. Okay. Now, if anyone wants to follow along, I'm sure everyone has access to this, but if you don't, actually, can I put the link? I don't know if I can put the link in the chat. It's a spreadsheet off a Google Drive, so I'm not sure. Okay, anyway, but the data's available. I know All Eyes posted a link to the original exhibit that this was extracted from. So a couple of things. Oh, goodness. Give me a second. Okay. I just literally wolfed down a burger and lots of Coke, so that was probably not a good idea. Carol's in here. Hi, Carol.
So what burger did you get? Whopper?
I had a double cheeseburger. That's my
Oh,
usual
that's okay.
go-to. Either a
All right.
cheeseburger with 2 slices of cheese or a double cheeseburger.
I guess yeah, you wolfed it down. I guess. Eh? So that's
I did. I ate it really quickly, and I had a big, large Coke as well. So,
awesome.
I hadn't had breakfast. I was hungry. Okay,
Oh
so
yeah. What time is it there? I guess you're at.
oh, it's still early actually. It's only 11:30, but yeah, I hadn't had breakfast, so then I was like, oh, I'll just get drive-through.
11:30 p.m.
AM.
a.m. Duh.
Yep.
Of course,
Yep.
yeah, you're way ahead.
I am
Sorry,
way ahead.
sorry, future lady.
That's why I'm the know-it-all. I'm in the future, so I can tell you everything.
Yeah, you got 14 hours of heads up of all the news.
Exactly. That's how I figured all this stuff out. Okay, so let's get into the stuff that I wanted. The stuff that was very technical. So another thing that people are talking about is the GPS coordinates. Now, from my understanding, and if you look at the data, you see this too. The GPS location coordinates that we see come up, and I'll see if I can scroll to one on the actual Knowledge C data, even though it's probably small on the screen. Let's come down. Should have prepared this earlier, but I didn't. But whenever you see the GPS location coordinates, here's one. It's when they're using the camera, right? So these are always linked to any app that uses the camera. I think there are other apps that potentially would bring up timestamps, but these are the ones that we see consistently in this data set. So the phone doesn't just randomly log GPS coordinates. It's not someone pinging the phone. It's actually to do with the camera. So when you load the camera on the iPhone, it basically pings a GPS location. Now that location can be pinged within, I guess, I think it's about 10 to 15 seconds of using the camera app. So what this means is it's not necessarily the location the person is at when they actually take the photo. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
So, for example, if I now open up my phone to take a snap of Spooky, who's over there,
Mhm.
I'm opening it up and it starts to, whatever the technical word is, but search for the location. But by the time I take the picture, I could be right over there next to Spooky, but it might be the coordinate of me sitting here on the couch where I am now. So that doesn't mean that I took the photo from this couch. It means that was within the time frame that I opened the app. Which is why
I
we
don't know
can't use a GPS coordinate that coincides with a photo as the specific location the person took the photo. So one of the things that's come up I've seen has been, well, how could Libby have taken the photo of Abby when the GPS coordinate is at the location Abby is standing? And yet, obviously, the photo isn't taken from right next to her. So the reason my sort of and again, this is just speculation. I mean, the fact is that there is a range of, I think, 10 to 15 seconds. I'm pretty sure that's fact. But the speculation I'm adding here is that either the location timestamp is from where, she was standing with Abby and's like, okay, you stay standing here and I'm going to take a picture, and she moved away and took it. Or she was standing away from Abby taking the picture when she opened Snapchat, and then she walked back to Abby to be like, oh, look, I sent the photo. Either way, the reality is that it's not odd. Like, it's not odd that location is the same location as, or approximately the same location as where the photo of Abby's been taken.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And
I'm
also,
really glad I've got you here, because sometimes when I'm talking, I'm like, I don't even understand what I'm saying after a while. I'm like, does that make sense?
And I'll just say yes, even if I'm not sure.
Yeah, you'll never say no, because otherwise I will get so angry.
No, I will never say no. So yes.
Yeah, you don't want to get the wrath of Amy, because I will be very angry. I'm a very angry person. You can probably guess that, right?
I'm more afraid of Spooky, but yeah, you're pretty scary too, I guess.
Actually, Spooky's not the scary one. Remember, it's Kai Kitty. He's the scary one in our house. He's the one. Well, actually, Kai Kitty and Nana. Nana's the scary one. So when the kids don't listen to me, I'm like, let me tell Nana, because nobody's scared of me.
Animals love me. When I come there and I meet the animals, when you fly us all out there, you're going to see animals love me.
Oh yeah, I'll be flying everybody over when we get our big Netflix documentary called The Lost Tip Narrative, right?
Yes. Yes, on your jet, on your personal jet. They'll send the jet here, and we'll all meet at one place.
When I'm a big star and I have, I'm challenging Mr. Beast for the top place on YouTube, I'll absolutely fly everyone over for a big party.
Sounds fun.
At my cat sanctuary.
Oh, even better.
So anyone who wants to come to that party, let me know in the chat. Send me your details, and I'll arrange that in about 30 years, maybe, when I have the money.
No, no. 30 days, 30 weeks maximum.
Well, I mean, look at this. Look at this. The channel's gone from 0 to
That's what
100. Like, I can't believe
I,
it. So,
I was going to say.
Adrian's in. This is a cool party.
Every time I come to your channel, the subs are going up by 10 or 20 or 30.
I know. Well, you know what, Shibby? I think that is definitely in part thanks to you, because you promoted the channel a lot at the beginning when I had nobody. I don't know, you still do, but yeah. So it's to you, and it's to Prof and Adrienne too. Like, they've both advertised me. Cryptex, another person who always advertises my channel.
Well, you know what Adrienne calls it? She calls it the shibby bump, because my milkshake brings all the girls to your yard.
There you go. And Dee Dee, how could I forget Dee Dee? She was the first one to like put me on her show. So yeah, we've got lots of good buddies here.
I was the one who introduced. I got you hooked up with Dee Dee in Prof's chat. I remember that specifically when you came and said you were a psychologist, and I was just meeting Dee Dee at the time, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's two psychologists, and I hooked you both up." So
it always goes back to you, Shibby.
It is. Everything good starts from Shibby. Yes.
For sure. Okay. Let's get back to it. So, those GPS coordinates that you can map. Oh, Sharon, my BFF's in here. Hey, Sharon, I haven't seen you for a while. Lovely to see you. Okay. So those coordinates that you can map on Google Earth, when you map them, and I can pull them up too because I have them open in another window. Give me a second. Share this tab instead. Oh, Google Earth. It was all loaded. Why isn't it unloaded? The only person I get angry at, or the people, they're not people, is technology. I'm really quite rude to ChatGPT, I have to be honest. Okay, so all of these location estimates, firstly, something I just learned, which is really, really quite interesting, is that you know how they give you the range? So on the Knowledge C data, they say, 5 meter variance or 30 meter variance.
I do, yes.
Yeah. Well, guess what? That is only 68% accuracy. So basically they say it's, if that pin drops like this pin here, it's a 68% likelihood that it's within 5 meters of that, if that's the range. But actually, the 95% confidence interval would probably actually be closer to 10 meters range, which is why we can't hold too much stock in these, as long as they're kind of giving us a general kind of gist and direction, and they're not, hundreds of meters off. So you can see when you plot this path that Kelsey is driving to the trails, it looks pretty consistent, right? It doesn't actually look like she's going, miles off and dropping them somewhere random, right?
Right. No, because with it being out in the open like that too, even though there's 1 or 2 towers and there's less tower coverage, it's still going to help being out in the open like that for sure.
Exactly. Now, I don't actually think this isn't my plotting. This might be someone else's. It might be Sarah's or Peggy's or someone's, because I like everybody sends me these, or I look at everybody else's ones as well as my own. But regardless, those. So I have heard again, and this is not about debunking, but it's just about offering some suggestions, that this route here, even though there are a few spots that might even show like they're a little bit off the road, the greatest variance I could find was 10 meters off the road. So it wasn't significant. And if we think of that 68% confidence, that means that there's a lot larger range, particularly when someone's driving. Also, we know that this Google Earth image could be the updated one. Not that the terrain would change or the roads would change, but I think there's a margin of error here. So unless we're getting a pin dropping somewhere completely random, and even just one outlier isn't enough, we'll talk about that in a minute. Basically, they're not driving into properties or into fields or anything like that. I know that people have been suspicious of Kelsey, and I know that there are things that people sort of describe about her statements being kind of like changing over time, or her manner, and actually kind of upsets me. Like I'm willing to look into any angle, but I feel she was a 17-year-old girl when her sister passed away, and they were clearly close. And I don't think it's helpful to make out that Kelsey didn't drop the girls at the trails, because this data is completely agreeing with her story.
Correct. Now, may I interrupt for 1 second? We have a special appearance by Mino Dino. So everyone say hi to Mino Dino and congratulate him for showing up.
Wow, we don't get Dino in here very often. He's been showing up a bit more recently.
He's back. He's back on Shibby's team. So
Awesome.
yeah, he was getting a little weird there.
Other people who've popped in, we've got Cherry Red, we've got who else have we got? Hoodis, and we've got Lola, and we've got Lisa. Did we say hello to Lisa? No, I don't think I'd said hello to Lisa yet. We've got
my friend. Yeah, I was going to read that. User QW blah 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 blah.
Yeah, it's a hard one to read. So apologies, guys, if I'm not seeing everything in the chat. It's moving pretty quick, which for me, I'm not used to this. I used to have like 2 people in my chat. So I remember the days where it was just Mimi and Al on the Prowl in my chats. And where is Mimi? I haven't seen Mimi.
She's been around. Actually, I've seen her pop in a few times late. She must be busy or something, but I have seen her recently.
She must have better things to do at the moment. And I haven't seen Al on the Prowl in my chat for a little while. I have seen him on his channel, but yeah.
He's a lurker. He listens a lot because he does a lot of driving at this time. The earlier on time. Yeah, he's driving around a lot. So he's listening. Hi, Dave. We know you're listening, lurker.
Hello to all our friends. And where is Diana? She's sleeping or working still? Probably working still.
I bet she's one of the two for sure. Yeah.
Cherry, I'm with you when you're saying no evidence the phone was hacked. I agree. I'm not sure if Cherry's talking to someone in the chat, but I mean, I agree. This is the whole point of today. I think there are lots of suspicious things in this case. There are lots of investigative failures, and we keep forgetting to do this, Shibby. Everything's alleged, speculation here. We got Trial Junkie in here too. Nice to see you, Trial Junkie. The reason there's no phone data for dropping the girls off is because the GPS coordinates locations are only dropped when somebody is using the camera app or an app that actually brings the GPS coordinates up, I suppose. That didn't sound very technical. Hey, Galaxy, thank you for joining as well. I'm trying to say hello to every new person that comes in, so if I miss you, sorry, but we're very happy to have you here. But yeah, so I'm getting jumbled up here. So what?
Don't worry about chat, because Heavy and Dino, they're very good at welcoming new people, and you guys make sure when you see new people to say hi and greet them with kindness. And if you're not sure if somebody you think is a troll, they'll make it clear eventually. So if you're not sure, just keep replying with a joke and kindness until you're positive.
The main reason I was looking at the chat was just because I definitely want us to be conversational, and I want people to feel like I'm listening to their views, but it's really hard to do both. So what I'll do instead, guys, is I'm going to just keep talking with Shibby and not look at the chat because it's getting me off track. But anything you say in the chat, I always go back and look, and then I can answer that in a subsequent video, because no doubt.
How about we start something where they put one of those big warning yellow signs or a big red question mark, if there's a question. So if you guys could figure that out, Heavy, pick an emoji, and you guys ask your question with a big emoji, and we'll try to get to it.
Yeah. Because, I don't want anyone to think I'm ignoring what they think or what they, what their ideas are, because I'm not at all. However, I guess, I've got some pretty strong ideas, as I usually do. But happy to, of course. Okay. Sherry was talking to someone in chat. Yeah, but totally happy for anyone to correct us if we're wrong, aren't we, Shibby?
Right. And with the amount of talking you do, I've got plenty of time to read chat, so I'll let you know.
Oh, yeah. Motor mouth will keep going. Okay, so let's keep going. So so the GPS coordinates, they only show when an app that needs them is being used, and in this case a lot of them are coming up because of Snapchat, because we know that Libby is using Snapchat on her phone. She's taken a few pictures in the car. I believe is talking to Brie Wilbur on Snapchat, because we see a few notifications pop up, and it's exactly the right timing for her to be saying to Brie, "Are you still out there?" And Brie to be like, "No, we're just heading out." So to me, that rapid kind of Snapchat on off is notifications. So when we see the screen go on and off within 4 seconds, that's a notification usually. It's not a deliberate press of the phone. I mean, it can be, but it's less likely to be, because a notification just shows up in a 3 to 5 second window and then kind of like the screen goes off again.
Correct. But also remember, notifications you can modify how they act. So it's possible they're different than what we think, but
yeah, exactly. No, you're totally right. I think when I looked at this, I tried to sort of map it a little bit, like and see, when does the screen unlock, when does the screen lock. But yeah, so I think it's a mixture of maybe the notifications coming up, but she's definitely like, there's one particular one where it goes screen on, screen off within 4 seconds, and then unlock straight away as well, as soon as the screen goes off, almost like the notification came up, she saw it and didn't kind of react straight away, and then turns the screen on and unlocks it. But clearly she is talking to someone on the way, and I believe the person she's talking to on the way is, as part of the testimony says, probably Brie Wilbur.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good to me.
Now, when we look at those Instagram photos that I've done to death, but I know some people probably just don't watch my channel because, I'm not seen as credible by some people, but those Instagram photos are the view from around the first trestle. Not both of them, but one of them is. And the other one is down by the creek's edge, which is exactly where Brie Wilbur went. The timing is correct. It's not necessarily a direct message. In fact, it's more likely a story, and it kind of sinks in time where it looks like Libby is engaging with Brie Wilbur, which we know she did from what Brie Wilbur had said. So to me, that phone activity in the car for Libby is taking her photos and communicating with a friend who she knows is at the trails, which is Brie Wilbur. Now, obviously,
Yes.
I can't confirm that 100%. I don't have the Snapchat subpoena. I don't know that anyone does, to be honest, the subpoenaed information, because I don't know that it was subpoenaed. So I can't say that for sure. But if you look at the pattern and the timing and then the testimony of Brie Wilbur, and again, I happen to believe Brie Wilbur, because whilst I believe there are people in this case who are dishonest, I don't think it's every witness. I don't think it's everybody in law enforcement. I think that there is a group that are insulated, if anything, allegedly, right? Hey, Grandma.
Yep. I was just going to say that. Hi, Grandma Sherry, and she's pronounced Sherry, so Grandma Sherry, and we hit 50 people in chat. Just wanted to announce that.
Yay, milestone. So yeah, guys, sorry, I'm just like blah 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 blah, and I hope this is not going too fast. I'm very passionate about this stuff because I have spent hours looking at this knowledge C data. I would never have thought I would have been able to make sense of it when I first looked at it. I wouldn't have even tried. And I can't remember what it was that first made me go, okay, open it up, let's have a look. And then I was hooked. Like, I love data. It's really interesting.
It is very interesting. Yep. And you're not talking too fast. You're talking perfectly. So keep it up.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, so I'm not a digital expert by any stretch, as I've said, but what I am is someone who had to study 6 years of statistics and research. And secondly, I love patterns and numbers. I was a bit of a maths geek at school. Like, before deciding to do psychology, one of the options was actuarial studies. Glad I didn't do that, because I don't think that would, no offense to anyone who does, I just don't think it would have been my thing. But yeah, I love numbers. I'm the sort of person that like calculates percentages just for fun. So anything that's got like patterns or numbers to it is definitely something I love. And I think that's why when I look at this spreadsheet, I'm like, oh, I can find like patterns. We can see what goes with what. So it feels a bit
I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. And I tell everybody that if I were an Avenger, I would be called Rain Man because that would be my superpower. Is I notice patterns, I notice differences and things that stand out, and just
Yeah.
I notice those things. So that's good.
Oh, yeah. No, well, I mean, makes sense. That's why we get on, right? Because I think, yeah, I love that sort of brain that kind of can synthesize and find patterns rather than just look on the surface. So yeah, it's kind of cool. It's a pretty
Cool.
neurodivergent thing, to be honest, as
Yes,
well.
I'm
Okay,
definitely on a few spectrums for sure.
you may be, you may be. Okay. Charles says we look what we've done. We've made him and Four Pits agree. There you go. Look at that. We're
Oh,
building bridges.
oh no, oh no. What next?
Maybe we will be the force that reunites the polarization in this case. Next thing we'll have Grey Hughes in here agreeing with us. No, I don't think so.
I think that's pushing it.
Oh, that's a shame.
I mean, anything's possible, Amy. The way your channel's been taken off, and now you got a secret weapon here called Shibby. I think anything's possible.
It's possible. Maybe I can convince Grey Hughes. No, I don't even think I would try. But anyway, let's keep going. Going. We could do a pretend interview with Grey Hughes. No, that we won't do that. That would be funny, but we won't. Okay, so where was I at? Yes, so this is why you can't use these GPS coordinates to track every single step along the way, but they overall match a route between the Paddy's house and the Mears lot, and then the girls' pins or yeah, the GPS coordinates match them going across the bridge. And then they stop. And the reason they stop at that point, unfortunately, because it would have been so helpful, obviously, for us to have more GPS location data after that, is because they don't use the app again. The camera again after the bridge guide video. So
sounds good.
now, the next thing that I only figured out the other day, because I kept hearing people say they ping near the high school, and I was like, no, they don't. What are you talking about? Like, I don't see that. Like, is this another one of those urban legends that kind of goes around with Delphi? And I figured it out. So let's pull it up on the Knowledge C sheet. Spoiler alert: it's nothing. It's nothing unusual and controversial. I can explain it. So let's go down. So around the time of the bridge guy video. Why has this gone back up to the top again? Didn't I have it like halfway through? Ugh, annoying. Okay. Sorry if that makes people's eyes go funny as I'm going through it all. Oh my goodness, this goes for ages, doesn't it?
Yep. And we just figured out that Dino is Tom Cruise and I'm Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man because
There you go.
I'm the one with the numbers and he's the one who's not allowed to drive the car up and down the driveway like I am.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time, so I'm not sure I get that reference, but
Well, Rain Man, which was Dustin Hoffman,
I remember
his
that.
brother
Yeah.
Raymond, Tom Cruise, was really like a rebel, and the dad wouldn't let him drive the car. But Rain Man could, and Raymond was like, because he's like savant, or I don't know the proper word, but Raymond, Tom Cruise, was upset because he wasn't allowed to drive the car. Yet his older brother, who could barely count to 10 at the time, was allowed to. Sorry.
No, keep going. I'm just searching something, so keep going for a minute because I just wanted to confirm something before I go into this point.
And there was that scene in in the restaurant when the waitress dropped the box of toothpicks, and she said he looked at the ground and said, "Oh, there's 271 there," or something like that. And she picked it up, and he said, "How could he know that?" And then there was something. She looked in the box and said, "Oh, there's 4 left." So and the box said 275 or something like that. I forget. He got the right answer.
Okay. There you go. Okay. So these are the location coordinates. Now it's this one here, the one in the bigger blue section, that I think has got people confused because when you map this one, it does appear to be an outlier. And this, I don't know if it's near the school, but it's certainly closer to the school than the bridge coordinates. Now, if you read this, though, you see that there are two location timestamps at the same time, right? 2:13:51. So it's around the time of the bridge guy video. Now, so that matches with the fact that whenever the camera is used, we get one of these. But what you'll notice is the first one, which is the one that's the anomaly. First of all, can you notice it's only got 4 decimal points? So it's less accurate in that regard to these long ones down here. And it says camera app initially requested reduced or low accuracy data, likely from the cell towers. Now we know
Now,
that.
wait, what,
Oh, yeah.
1 sec before you, did you notice there's 3 sixes in there too? 666? Just
Oh, yeah.
kidding.
There you go. Well, 4
But,
sixes if you take that one too.
well, that's a decimal. So
Okay.
I'm going after the decimal. Anyway, sorry.
Okay. So yeah, so what we're saying here is that this was the initial. It says initially requested reduced or low accuracy data from the cell towers. There's only 2 cell towers in Delphi. They overlap a lot. It's really a minefield for trying to triangulate a phone. So this is not going to be very accurate. The next one, however, goes back to the usual way that the iPhone figures out location coordinates, and I'm not even going to try to explain that. If anyone wants to, they can, but this is far more accurate. It's got a horizontal precision of 30 meters, and when you map this coordinate, it does look like it's slightly off the other. It looks on the south side of the Monon High Bridge, but it looks like down the hill is on that side and this is on the other side, so it looks like it's off a little bit, but it's well within the 30-meter range of where Libby would have actually been standing to take the bridge guy video.
Works for me.
So nothing to see here. Libby was indeed taking the video from the place that the video clearly looks like it's been shot from, which is the south end of the bridge, right at the end of the last panel. And then she moves and turns around and walks a couple of steps in the other direction. So these are the sorts of things that I'm noticing with the location information that are sort of being seen as much more suspicious when they're actually just normal kind of data anomalies. And remember what I've already said to you, 30 meters is the 68th% confidence, right? So even then, even if it was a bit more than 30 meters, which I don't think it is when I measured it, it would still be well within the range. So yeah, nothing to see here. The girls or Libby videoed the bridge guy video from where we think she did. And I mean, she was there for those 43 seconds of the video. So that's another kind of thing that on the surface looks unusual. Yes, it does. We see this, wait a minute, the data point, isn't matching the video. But again, it's because of ranges of error. This one here, very much a massive range of error because it's to do likely with the cell towers. It's low accuracy. This one here, less of a range of error, but still 30 meters. So that's 6 times the error of some of the other ones that we've talked about. And I think that's most likely to do with the brain. And yeah.
I'm going to go share this on my channel. I forgot to do that. So I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay. So that's the next thing that I wanted to talk about. So what have we covered? We've covered that you can record off an iPhone. We've covered location. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was battery. So, I mean, I'm not going to talk about the cold shock theory because we've talked about that a lot. And anyone who wants to know what I think happened after the bridge guy video can go back to those. I'm not going to go over that again, but I noticed on another channel that they were speaking about the battery looking like it charges itself. But I think that that's actually just an error in the data that they might have, because this is the spreadsheet that was shared by Yellow Jacket, and Yellow Jacket's awesome with this stuff. I trust her data. It makes sense, and she's pretty meticulous, but I also double checked that it was in fact the same as what was in the official exhibit that All Eyes had shared. And indeed, the 2 o'clock, I think it's 2 o'clock, let's go down. The 2 o'clock battery percentage, I think some people were saying that was 36%, so it looks like that the phone has jumped up in battery while the girls are walking on the trails, but it's actually 26%. So you can see here, I think it's a simple error to make because this is small and you might misread it or it might be mistyped, but it's definitely 26%. So there is no point at which the battery is charging itself or jumping up in a random way. The only time it jumps up is when you've got like it's got 1 extra percent after being unplugged. But to me, that's just you unplug it and it was still updating the percentage. So there's that 1%, but that's not meaning that it's charging itself. That's probably just a residual charging from it being unplugged. So I don't think there's any anomaly in terms of the battery data, except that except the cold shock stuff that comes later, which we've talked about. So I think, I mean, this is what's really hard, because when we look at this stuff, it's easy to, to make errors. I've made lots of them where I've been like, oh no, it's this. But then when you double check it, you're like, oh no, it's not actually. So yeah, I think I'm always cautious to double check, because I've certainly made that error multiple times in this case where I've been so sure of something, but then I've double checked it and been like, nope. And I kind of feel like crawling into a little hole, but instead I just make a fun of myself. There you go. Prime example. I just make fun of myself because I make errors all the time. I don't know everything, contrary to popular belief. My son, he was only 4 when he asked me, what is the eye made of? And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. Thank God we have Alexa.
Oh, the eyeball?
Yeah, he wants to know. I mean, you probably know. Do you know, Shibby? What's the eye made of?
Yeah, same thing as a grape, green grapes.
He asks me the toughest question. So then he asked me, I think he would have been about 7, so he's a bit older. And then he asked me, how do the tides work? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't like studying that sort of stuff. So I like to know about how human beings work, not the tides. But yeah, he asks me all these wild questions, and he knows all this stuff because he watches like these little YouTube documentaries for kids and stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Guys, is there some fighting going on in the chat? No, please don't fight, guys. We like you all.
It's okay.
We all have different
So,
opinions.
as of this, it's all fun and games. Nobody's fighting yet. So let's just, no more comments about that and just move on. No more comments, Hebby. If there's any more, if they can't let it go, then just time them out. Because it's fun to joke, but 2 or 3 and then fine. But not 4, 5, 6. Don't keep going on and on, guys. Please.
We just agree to disagree, guys. We don't want to get too heightened, and no name calling. We don't like name calling.
That's coming from Serial Shibby, who's always serial. So Hebs, if they go back and forth too many times, let them go.
Yeah. The only name calling allowed on this channel is you can call me Know-It-All or Miss Thang or Motormouth or Energizer Bunny. I'm happy with all of those names, but don't call each other names.
So Hebs, you see that? Whoa, stop. Cherry Red 444. I've already asked you to stop. So Hebby, if this Cherry Red doesn't stop, time them out. Just move on, guys. Move on.
I think
one more comment, you're gone.
Shibby, it says though that Cherry Red's saying that she wasn't calling Charles dumb. She was calling.
It doesn't matter. Listen, guys. Whoa! I'm putting my foot down, because you can't just keep going back and forth, guys. You get caught in a loop like I do, and that's not going to go anywhere. So
I know, Shibby, but people are allowed to have a chance to explain themselves. I think that's all Cherry Red's.
That's not what's happening. Listen, Amy, that's not what's happening here. Okay, that's not what's happening.
Remember, I can't even discipline my own kids. It's like, go tell Nana, because I don't like people being in trouble. No, Cherry, don't leave. You're allowed to stay.
I'm going to leave soon, honestly, because you can't let people go back and forth like that, Amy. You got to say no. You got to say no. Can't be the cool parent.
I know.
So bye, Cherry. If you don't have to go, Cherry, we're going to miss you.
Don't say
You're
bye,
very welcome. But if you don't want to keep going back and forth like you are now,
Charles is attacking anyone too. Like, everybody stop attacking.
Is that Mustang? Because listen, guys, Hebby, just time them out or get rid of them.
We got bad cop on here with us today, guys. I'm scared now too. Am I going to get in trouble, Shibby?
No, but I thought I was pretty nice about 10 minutes ago when I said, okay, everyone just kind of forget about it and let's move on. And nobody has. So
it's not Mustang. Mustang's in on. Why did you think? Anyway, look, guys, let's just chill. Nobody's going to call anyone names. We can agree to disagree. We don't need to fight, guys. You can disagree with me. Don't disagree with each other. Well, I mean, you can disagree, but I mean, just don't disagree meanly. That's all. Anyway.
I don't think it's Mustang. Mustang has been super sweet lately.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Sorry,
I think it was
I'm
Mustang.
sorry. Mustang, I didn't mean to say that. It was just a dumb thought I had. I should have kept it in my head. So Mustang has been great.
Okay, so let's just all take a breath and chill. Everybody's welcome here. Let's all just be friends. Okay. You're allowed to be
Ah,
upset if somebody says something rude to you, and you're allowed to tell us, absolutely. But let's try not to say anything rude to each other.
okay. No,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't rude. It's just kind of like not
No,
letting it go.
I'm not saying you're being rude, Shibby.
No, no.
I never
Okay.
hear you never use rude terms, Tubbs. I mean, like not other than the joking stuff, but you don't call people names. I've
Yeah.
never heard you call someone a name.
Vulgar, yes. Rude, no.
Yeah. No, I've never heard you call people nasty names. That's a good thing.
Nope.
Okay. Well, anyone who left because of that, I'm sorry. I think things just get heightened and yeah, but we want this to be a nice space, guys.
It is. Okay,
Okay.
take two. Cut. Start fresh.
Yeah, start fresh. I need Nana in the house. Next time we'll bring my mum on as well, and she can be the disciplinarian with you, Shibby.
Yeah.
And I'll be the like the Disney parent that's like, let's just buy some fairy floss.
I
Okay.
agree with that for sure.
Okay. So it is a sad story. You're right, C1 as well. Like, you know, definitely. Like usually when I'm talking about this data, I do get super sad. And today I think we're kind of approaching it a little bit more tongue in cheek. Whenever Shibby's on it on the channel, it tends to be more fun, doesn't it? Oh, Mustang's going now too. No, Mustang, you're our friend.
Listen. And Mustang, I already apologized, and I didn't mean to say that. So if you guys want to just keep putting stuff in chat and not moving on, that's fine. I'm sorry, Mustang. I didn't mean to say that. It was just because nobody else usually talks to Charles like that, the way that cherry person was. So that's all. Honestly, I'm sorry, and we're going to move on starting right now. Please, thank you.
Okay,
Serious
let's move
shitty.
on. Let's move on. Let's think about fairy floss. I love fairy floss. Okay, let's get back to the knowledge C data. It is sad. You know, I think for me, I try to just compartmentalize sometimes when I'm talking about the data because, yeah, thinking about like what's actually going on. Like I just literally felt a shiver in my body when I think about it. Like just makes me super sad to think about Libby. I just literally get these physical sensations in my body of like all up my legs and stuff, just this shiver. And it's like, yeah, we're talking about the lives of the end of the lives of these two girls that did not deserve to lose their lives. So yeah, I think I didn't mention that today, but it's always there at the back of all our minds. But everybody, please stay, yes, and let's keep going. Let's keep going because we're doing this to make sense of it so that justice can be served for those two beautiful girls and for the people who believe Rick's innocent, like myself, for Rick, because Rick is still suffering in this relentless hell of being incarcerated for a crime that most of us in here don't believe that he committed. And the reason that we're looking at this knowledge C data is to better understand the case. But the reason I'm also looking at this today is to help us to put to bed things that might not be particularly relevant in favor of what is relevant, because there are so many things in this case that could help Rick. I'm not sure what's going to help get justice for the girls, because I just feel like this has been so messed up that we may never have the full truth of what happened to the girls. But if I can't speak for Abby and Libby because obviously I'm not them, I don't know them, but I imagine that they seem like two very beautiful, warm-hearted girls. Like I think that they were particularly, I think Libby thought about working in like law enforcement. She liked, you know, solving mysteries and things. So I think that they would be unhappy if the wrong person is sitting in jail for taking their lives.
You know, it's funny you say that because I have a feeling that some of them don't believe that themselves. So some of the people that are sure he's guilty. Like they
Mm.
they can't say if we found out more information, I would change my mind. I have a feeling they just will never say that.
No. No, there's plenty of people that won't. But to be honest, Shibby, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of the people who believe he's guilty are very stuck in that. But I do believe a lot of the people who are, pro Rick Allen's, innocence can be very stuck too. And this is why,
True.
sometimes I become an unpopular figure because I I don't go with the main narrative. I go with like what my research shows. And the thing is, though, that in showing that this data is not suspicious, that's not going against Rick, because this data
No.
doesn't doesn't help Rick. If there's some suspicious activity on the phone, sure, fine, okay, but how does that help Rick? It may help figure out what happened to the girls, but it probably won't, because the problem is they bloody didn't preserve, I don't believe, the Snapchat information. So if we don't know what the girls were exchanging on Snapchat, I truly believe the girls were taking a short video at 1:51. You can see it in the data. We don't know who that video was to, what was in that video. That was when they were on the trails. Now, clearly they haven't subpoenaed that because we've not seen any mention of it. It's really problematic. But the problem is, where are we going to get that data from now? 8 years on. It's really
Right.
sad.
They, sh-
But
they
I
should
don't
have
believe,
they should have kept the phone in evidence and not touched it or gave it away or whatever.
and they should have subpoenaed Snapchat as soon as they found the bodies, because there still
Right.
would have been valuable information there, because there must be other things they've sent. They were on Snapchat quite a bit. No, actually, maybe not. There must be other things they've sent, but every time there is a GPS location coordinate and they are on Snapchat, it means they're using the camera app. Now, they could be just taking selfies and then deleting them. However, I think it's more likely, particularly for that extended one at 1:51, that they've taken a video or they've taken a series of photos, and at least one thing would have gone through. They're not just going to take it, go, oh, it's not very good, leave it, and then just walk off. I can even think of myself, when you take a selfie with your friends, I don't know if you do this, Shibby, or if it's more a girl thing. I don't know. Not that there's girl or boy things, but you know what I mean. If you take the first one, you're like, nah, scrap that, delete it, do another one. You don't just go, oh, scrap that, never mind, I won't take one. So, yeah. I think the other thing, just reminded me reading the chat and seeing Sarah talking about the other apps. Yeah, they should have preserved all of them. But another thing that has kind of upset me a little bit is because it feels a bit victim blamey when we're saying Libby was up to silly things on her phone. Because to me, having worked with adolescents, throughout that time period and continuing, those apps are not unusual apps for kids to use, and it doesn't mean that they're up to silly things. I mean, I don't like Kik. I remember Kik being the source of a lot of bullying and issues with some of the clients I dealt with back in those sort of the 2000, whenever it was, 2013, 14, 15, and beyond, whenever that app started, because you can do things anonymously on there. But in and of itself, it's not an indicator she was doing things that were risky or problematic. Those are just really normal teenage things, like me going on ICQ or whatever it was back in the day, to chat with people. I mean, I did that when I was 15. It didn't mean that I was putting myself in danger. That's just what kids do on the internet.
Right. Now, I'd like to go and touch on the collecting of the evidence where I think we're being a little too nice to these, Ellie, where isn't there things that are just mandatory to be done? Like, are we to pretend in 2017 they didn't know that sticks that are on a body are important to the investigation? Are we to pretend that? And now that they've learned their lesson and they won't do it again? Like, are we to pretend that with all this smartphone stuff, they're not um, getting all the information from Snapchat and from all these places? And they just, oh, we learned our lesson now in 2017, like we didn't know before. We're being way too nice with these lawsuits, Ellie.
Oh, no, no, no. We're not being, no, we are not being nice to these law enforcement. No, I mean,
Not. I didn't mean us. I meant in general. I think people let them off a little easy.
oh, for sure. I mean, because either, like I said to you before, and I've said on this channel a million times, like either we're to believe that literally all of the key investigators here had significant issues with problem solving, or we're to believe that eventually it's one too many oops moments for us to say they're all errors. And,
Right.
you know, yeah, I think it's very much that there is suspicious stuff going on. You know, I'm not here to say there's nothing suspicious here, let it go, which is why I'm not on the side of the state, unlike what people would say. I mean, yes, I am a veiled guilt to remember, but no, I don't believe that. I believe that there are suspicious things. The suppression of the geofencing, the fact that they were getting all that phone data and information from, what was it, Dollar Store and stuff, all the stuff that I put in the Discovery Map presentation, the fact that the Hoosier Harvest Store stuff, I mean, I still haven't done an updated video on that, but that's what really, to me, first got me going, goodness, this probably does have some really suspicious elements to it. There's so
The
many
gas
suspicious
station.
aspects.
The gas station.
No, the Hoosier
The
Harvest
video.
Store footage.
No, but also the
Oh,
video
oh,
from
yeah,
the.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, so I mean, I think that there's exactly. I mean, where's all the other CCTV images? Like, where's the other information from Rick's other Google accounts? Like, there's so much here that we could absolutely dig into and find out more about. Although we may not ever get information, but I keep going back to, I just don't think the Knowledge C spreadsheet is one of those things. In fact, if anything, what's been really beneficial for me through looking at this is potentially the debunking of the cross the creek because he got scared thing, because I still believe in my cold shock, theory around the battery dropping from 218 and the movement stopping. And we're going to get to movement in a minute, but that abrupt stop in movement and that 7-minute pause, that is unusual, particularly when it's paired with screen going on and off and the battery starting to drop catastrophically. Something happens in that 7-minute pause, and it isn't Rick Allen, with the girls trying to assault them. Because then why is the screen going on and off, and why is the battery dropping? How's that going to account for that? To me, what accounts for it far better is that phone had some sort of catastrophic change in its system, either due to cold, it could be due to dropping, but there is no sign of damage. It could be due to water, but maybe not water damage that is to the extent that would show on the damage. I don't know. I am speculating there. I can't prove it, but I think that's a reasonable hypothesis, more so than Rick standing with the girls for 7 minutes and them not moving.
Yeah, I can think of 10 different reasons why that would happen.
Yeah. But none of them is Rick standing there trying to assault them and then getting scared by a van that doesn't actually come for many, many more minutes, right?
No, because there's two of them there. If the phone is at play, if he's assaulting one, then the other would probably think of grabbing it. If it's not moving, where is it? It's not on her body, because if she's being assaulted, then it's got to be just laying on the ground. Or she could be tied, and I don't even know.
And then if it's laying on the ground, then why is nobody then, how have they then picked it up from the ground again, then taken it over to the other side of the, it just starts to become a bit tricky, like to make sense of. So I usually just go with what's the most logical explanation. And I harass ChatGPT and Perplexity AI, and now I've got into Gemini as well. And I use all the AI platforms, and I'm like, is this likely? Is this likely? Are you sure? Anyway. That's another part of this data. Let's just go back to some of the things that we're discussing specifically today, because we've talked a lot about the 7 minutes and all of that. Yep. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was the movement. So again, I think this is another misinterpretation of data, because people look at this and they go, huh? It says movement stopped and it started at the same time. Now, Chibi, let's test you on this. What do you think that means? Why do we have movement stopped and then movement started at the same time?
At the exact same time. Well, maybe the phone stayed in place and spun around. So it's saying it thinks it's in one spot, but it's also moving.
Well, yes, but I think the most plausible, which it doesn't go at odds with what you're saying, is that this is an interval of data. So this movement stop, steps 288, distance 164, isn't all at that time. I mean, you can't do that many steps in that distance in 0 seconds. That's the previous block, right?
Right,
and then
but
it
yeah,
stops, and then it starts again.
right. You pause like you lock the phone, and then there's a pause, and then yeah, so the phone will stop. You lock it, and then you put your phone down and your hand down
Well, actually, Shibi, it's not necessarily that you lock it, but it's
or
that
unlock.
the no, look, it's probably not even related to lock or unlock. So the phone can track movement even when it's locked. But what it
It is
is
because it's at phone unlocked is at the exact same time.
oh yeah, I mean, I think there's a reason for that on this particular entry, and I think because that's after they've been using Snapchat, and I think, am I right? Is that with the where I said it's the Snapchat entry? I'm going to just go back to it. Where I said to you, I think that, yep, so this is one where we've got a timestamp. Can you see here? Timestamp, timestamp. This is the one where I feel like they're taking pictures or a video in between that. And so I think they do stop to take pictures or a video and then they start walking again. But also, it's
But
segments of data.
now, can I say one thing? The pink one where it says screen on, is that did she have the tilt? You know, when you raise the tilt, when you
Potentially,
raise to wake. So
yeah.
picture her raising to it wakes up, she raises it at
Mm-hmm,
1:51:04. Then Snapchat's on in the foreground. Then she
mm-hmm.
unlocks the phone, and then she stops there. You know, it makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, look, sometimes as well, I think what confuses people is the times. It's like, but Snapchat was in the foreground before the phone unlocked. I mean, we're looking here at seconds, right? And things,
Hmm.
you know, don't update exactly on the second. I think so. We've got to recognize that sometimes these are going to be out by a few seconds, but as long as they're clustering together, to me, a
Well,
bit like the GPS coordinates, it literally is
I
close
think it,
enough.
right. If they added the milliseconds, I bet you would see some differences.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, in this case, look, it could be screen on because there was a notification. That's why Snapchat then came in the foreground and the phone was unlocked at the same time. But I truly believe I don't think Snapchat can be in the foreground without the phone being unlocked. So I think these are the other way around. But it's just we're looking at a data set that's logging. Um, oh gosh, what did I do? I just made Shibby the whole screen. How do
Hey,
I
look at
go
that guy.
back? I don't know how to
Hey
get.
there. Hi, ladies. If you're
I don't know how to go
available,
back now. How did I do that?
you come here
There we go.
often.
Did I
I,
fix it?
yeah. Is that a
Yeah,
mirror in your pants? Because I can see myself in them. No, I'm just kidding.
there we go.
I got some
Um,
cheesy pickup lines. Sorry.
That's okay. But yeah, I mean, so I guess what I'm saying is this when we pick it apart second by second. I know some people say, well, you're just saying close enough, good enough, but there's a region of error in everything in life. This is why we have 95% confidence intervals and 90% confidence intervals because nothing is ever going to be 100% accurate to the millisecond or even to the second. Like we've seen with the GPS coordinates, when it says 5 meter radius. Oh, sorry, I just heard my wind chime. I thought it was a doorbell. Even when we're saying it's like a 5 meter variance, I'm telling you that's only 68%. So if we actually went to 95%, it'd be a 10 meter variance. So there's always a margin of error. And I think that when we're starting to look at these margins of error and these tiny little outliers and interpreting them, that actually goes against statistical theory because
Yeah.
outliers are only meaningful if there becomes clusters or if it's an incredibly meaningful event. So yes, I would agree if I can't even think of something that would be really suspicious here. But yeah, if there was a big block of time where the phone does absolutely nothing, and there's no good reason because they're supposed to be walking on the bridge, yeah, sure, I would find that unusual. But I think these rough, little couple of seconds here or there are not necessarily anything to be overly concerned about. I mean, we could ask, if we had an expert, that would help. I actually have a relative that works at Apple, but I'm not going to ask them to risk their job to explain this to
Um,
us. So.
Also, it's possible that the phone, it's not human. It may interpret things wrong too, and then record the wrong thing.
Exactly. Exactly. There is room for error. Just like,
So,
I'm sure this has happened to all of us in here. I'll send a text message and it doesn't get received by someone till after a text message that I sent later, and it just randomly happens and
mm,
you don't even know why.
right. Yeah, I had that too with I sent somebody a message and then I went upstairs and I was talking with them and I was like, you didn't reply, and he said, I didn't get your message, and then boom, it came in as I was talking to them. So
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at these movement segments, they're literally segments. So the last movement, start, stop, I'm just going back to it, is here we go. So this is when the last movement start stops is. So it's the movement stops and starts after a couple of, this is only 33 steps in that because they're in the car and it looks like it starts again. Now the iPhone, particularly back there, I think it's changed now, but it would have registered movement in the car as sometimes being steps. It didn't have the sophisticated systems that I think we have these days with Fitbits and, you know, smartwatches and the phones that are able to now differentiate. So what this is looking at here is movement starts at 1:41 after stopping the last segment. And then the next data point we're looking at is 10 minutes later. I think it was 51, wasn't it? Oh, I love this, but it is tedious going through all these different parts. Here we go. So then it's been 288 steps and a distance of that. Now that roughly measures of like getting out of the car, because they got out of the car a few minutes earlier. So I think they get out of the car about 1:48. So they're walking for 3 minutes. Now that's dot on, because I know for me, I walk about 100 steps a minute.
Yeah. Makes
right?
sense.
So to me, that's getting out of the car and walking probably up to, the trail split area-ish. And then they've decided to take a picture or do something because we can see, again, the camera app. And then they've continued to, you have to stop for a long time for it to completely stop movement. So it either needs to be, put on the table to charge, or in the case of later on when we see the movement abruptly stop at 2:18. That's why I think that's so odd, because every other, or most of the other ones where movement starts and stops, we see it literally stop and start again. Sometimes it could even be a different pace as well. Like, if you've been walking and then you take a pause and then you run, again, it might update and say movement stopped, movement started. I think there's various reasons you can research. There are other reasons, but again, it's not a suspicious reason.
No, because also picture them when Kelsey drops them off. She's probably nagging them to wear sweaters and be home at a certain time and don't talk to and
Yep.
they probably want to get away and meet or go and smoke a cigarette and get right away from
Yep.
Kelsey or whatever.
So glad you mentioned that, because this is another point where Kelsey gets sort of thrown shade as being a liar, because she couldn't have been saying no, she couldn't have been saying that she gave sweaters. Sorry, I just got distracted for a minute. Because Abby's already wearing a sweater. Yeah, Abby is, but Libby isn't. And I think my understanding of what she said was that she offered them sweaters from the back of the car, so either the boot or the back seat. Now Abby's sitting on the back seat, so maybe she already got hers while they were driving, but Libby still hadn't got hers. And we know that it is a very brief pause where Kelsey pulls over and drops them. The phone is plugged in. The other thing I was thinking was, when you leave the house, I've done this so many times where you're like, you're about to go out somewhere and you're like, oh crap, I didn't charge my phone, and it's on like mine is right now, it's 14%, and you just try and get as much juice in it, so you leave it plugged in to the very last minute. You grab your bag, you grab your sweater, and then you unplug it just as you're about to leave. So I kind of feel like in the car she has it plugged in the whole way, and who knows, maybe she gets out and gets the sweater on and then leans back in, says bye to Kelsey, and takes the phone. But again, I feel like we can overinterpret this stuff. I don't think Kelsey's going to be lying about giving a sweater to Abby and Libby because she only gave it to Libby. Again, remember, memory is impacted when first of all, we're not remembering every second detail of every interaction we have. And secondly, the truth in that is that Libby doesn't have a sweater on. So clearly she did need to get a sweatshirt.
Correct. Yep.
So this is just, this stuff, I think the reason I get a little bit frustrated with this stuff is because I don't want us to jump to conclusions that people are lying or doing the wrong thing when there's actually a much more innocent explanation for it.
Right. And also, though, there's the other side where just asking the question is not blaming or pointing fingers neither. Just asking the question is a good thing.
No, sure. And I think that would be reasonable to say, oh, I wonder what that was. But I think when I hear people say she's lying or, and I've heard some nasty things said to Kelsey. And again,
right. Now,
I'm not going to say that I haven't looked at, some of the things that people say are suspicious, because I'm willing to explore anything. But I think that jumping to a conclusion that a victim's sister is lying about so many things when she was only a 17-year-old girl, I think is a bit harsh.
Right, but what is the reason why people would get defensive? Because they are guilty of something. So if you asked me a question afterwards, I would say, "Oh, I understand why you see that," and I would answer you. Whereas if I got mad at you, that's probably a sign that I may be up to something,
Did Kelsey
possibly.
get mad at people?
I'm not saying she did. I'm just
Oh, no,
saying
I'm just
in all
curious.
these
Okay.
in all these questions, like if you're not okay with somebody asking questions,
Yeah.
then maybe that could mean something.
Well, no, I agree with you. And I mean, I think that's why we see with Rick's interrogation, he doesn't get defensive until they go on and on and on. Um, Look, I mean, I have to say though, if God forbid I was in Kelsey's situation and people kept suspecting me, I'd be really hurt. And you might get defensive because you're hurt, not because you're guilty too.
Or, but also she made some conflicting statements too. So who is she mad at?
But this again happens when people
Oh, I
mis
understand.
So this is what we talked about. You know, when I was sort of saying like we struggle, a lot of us struggle, and I myself included, to take the perspective of what someone else in that situation would do because we haven't been in that situation, you know. But memory is flawed. Memory is flawed, and I agree. Ted's saying innocent people get angry and defensive. I actually do this little exercise with some of the kids I work with called the anger iceberg, and it's like the tip of the iceberg's anger and what's underneath it. And sometimes it could be guilt, but it can also be grief. It can be frustration. It can be tiredness. It can be sadness. It can
Right,
be all sorts of betrayal. Because I'd feel really betrayed if people started asking me if I killed my sister or I was involved with killing my sister. You know what I mean?
right. But also there was the situation where Kelsey said that she did talk to Anthony Schatz, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And then she said
No,
she
I mean
didn't.
that one.
So how do you get
Yeah.
that mixed up?
No, I'm with you on that one. I mean, that one is definitely
Yeah.
odd because, but again, and again, maybe I'm making too many excuses because I like to see the best in people. But I wonder as well if the family has somewhat been potentially manipulated by people in law enforcement to feel like they're doing what's helping them get the real people. Do you know what I mean? It's
Right.
like you can
Yeah.
manipulate someone. If I say to you, Shibby, just tell the lie that so and so was there because they are guilty, and then we'll catch the real killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But at some point you'd think the family would question what any of the mistakes
No,
Ellie made, and they never did.
for sure.
If they lost that many interviews and all the mistakes, they'd had not one um, constructive criticism to offer the LE. So that's
Yeah.
blind faith is what kind of made me suspicious.
No, I'm with you because it was interesting. I was talking about that case the other day of the little boy that went missing in the Sunshine Coast here, like years ago, like years and years ago now, who was 13 years old, and there was a similar issue in that case where law enforcement had literally just ignored two detectives who had the lead for the person who actually committed the crime, and they were so upset. They were really upset with law enforcement for the fact that they didn't listen, they didn't do the right thing. So yeah, I mean, it is unusual that they've just accepted it. Then again, I wonder if there's again a psychological defense of like, I don't want to even try to think that they're wrong here because then that means the real killer's still out there, and that means we can't get peace because today isn't the day, you know?
Well, not wrong on their ideas or their opinions, but on the actual mistakes that they made and things that they didn't do, they should have. There was
Yeah.
not anyone on that side of the family saying that, oh, that pissed me off or how that got me mad.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. I mean, yeah, that is unusual because you'd think you'd be like, I'm still pissed off about it. It's like, you know, if you have like a medical malpractice, you know, and the person's like, okay, you can't bring back the loved one that's been affected by that, or you can't undo it, but you'd still be pissed off about it and you wouldn't go and be like sucking up to the doctors who did the wrong thing. I agree. But yeah, it's confusing.
And
And so, look, I'm
and
not here to say there's no reason for anybody to question anything, but I don't think
right,
a simple detail like sweaters is
no,
as
those
problematic.
details are simple, but the tip was lost. A guy came and talked to you 2 days after, and
Yeah,
5 years later, you find a tip, and he's the guy that's convicted for the crime, and you don't
yeah,
say like, "Oh my God, what idiots you guys are."
exactly. You'd think that I mean, I don't even know, wouldn't they even get compensation for that? Because that's like literally wrongdoing of the police that they've like completely bungled the investigation. I don't know.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That you make a good point there, Shibby. for sure. Okay, so let's just go back. Because I'm going to finish up soonish because I've got some stuff I've got to do in the afternoon, some meetings and stuff. But
Mhm.
just want to see if there was any other points. Let me just check my little list. You entertain everyone while I do that, Shivy.
Okay. Yeah, guys in the chat, you've been good. Sorry. If you're joking, just try to use more emojis and stuff, and it's okay. I'm sorry if I mistook you wrong, Mustang or anybody, and y'all can just have fun and play, and I enjoy you guys. So, uh, you did good.
Okay, I feel like I've got one more thing, maybe, and then I might stop for today. Well, actually, two things. So one of the things is that Eldridge looked at this entire extraction, from my understanding. She did look at the entire, whatever it is, Celebrite, Grey Key, all of that stuff. So it wasn't that she didn't have access to this data that we're looking at. So she did, yes, she didn't have access to the phone itself, but she did have access to the extracted data. Now, I don't know how easy it would be to doctor this data. I don't know, but I don't believe, and I believe she probably would have been able to tell. So I kind of don't think that the argument that Eldridge didn't have enough information would really fly. And another thing, these are all just little points. I think people were talking about the Snapchat photo of Abby on the bridge, the one that isn't in cache. I still don't think that's super suspicious. The way that Snapchat caching works, again, it's not precise, and I think if the phone was locked quite soon, or like pretty much immediately after taking that photo, maybe it didn't update to cache. The 7-hour delay, it says 7 hours ago. People say, well, when was the photo taken? Well, I just think that whoever screenshotted it 7 hours later, which would have been around 9 o'clock at night. Now, that's not that absurd or unusual. Maybe one of the friends, by that point were really worried. They were like, well, actually, the girls couldn't have just gone to someone's house. They're really missing. They're about to call off the search. Clearly they have not been found. And I think then someone was like, well, maybe I better just take a Snapchat screenshot of that image. I don't think that's that unusual. I know screenshotting images in Snapchat would give a notification to the person who had posted it. So back in those days, right. I used Snapchat briefly, not very much, probably a few years ago, but you don't really I didn't really like screenshotting it because it tells the other person that you're screenshotting it.
But you could take a photo of the screen and then crop it, and you wouldn't know, really.
No. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yes, you could take a photo with another device. But yeah, I guess what I'm saying is at that point, they didn't think it was a crime. No. I think at that point, they just thought the girls, had run off. Not run away.
Why the 7 hours? What doesn't it disappear? Like, or did she send it to her in like a private message? And then how does she able to see it?
Yeah, no. So if I send you a picture now, if I send you a picture, it wouldn't show up 7 hours on the picture. So that looks like a story message. So if I put a story on Snapchat now, you can watch that story for 24 hours, multiple times.
Yeah. Okay.
But when you screenshot it, it will show you how many hours ago. So that person, they could have looked at it multiple times, but at that time they've decided, well, we better just screenshot this,
Correct.
So I do agree it's a bit unusual that there weren't more screenshots or there wasn't an earlier screenshot, but probably other people saw it, but they just didn't think they needed to keep evidence, I suppose.
Yeah. Maybe that's where Mullins learned to take screenshots afterwards.
Yes.
Mess with the metadata.
Oh, yes. And this, you're really good at reminding me of my points. So one of the things that became a bit of a contentious issue in Case by Cases video chat and the live chat earlier today, my time, was around they were talking about Bunner having said at some point that there were photos of the girls with a man in the background. Now, I think this is, and All Eyes was clarifying this, that she had got that from the trial notes of someone who'd been at trial, but subsequently it's not in the testimony, and it isn't. I've had a look. There is nothing in the testimony to suggest that. I mean, obviously, I thought that was pretty unusual because if there were photos of the girls on the trails with a guy behind them, you'd think...
I know what it is.
Yeah, I think I know what it is. What do you think, Libby?
The pole that used to be there. There used to be a pole that used to block people from driving these vehicles onto the track, to the bridge. There was a pole, a big red pole.
It could, it could be. But I think actually, though, like when I looked back at the exhibits, guess what? There's 5, because they were talking about 5 photos with a man, like 4 of which had the man behind There's 5 screenshots that Bunner took from the Bridge Guy video. So my sense is that they're the 5 screenshots, and 4 of those screenshots have Bridge Guy behind Abby, and the other one doesn't. And then the others are the Instagram, and I think they've been merged together. It's that whole telephone game where we're mishearing bits, and therefore like things are kind of getting lumped together. Because all I said, she didn't have any actual official documents saying that. But I think what was being said was that there's a report from Bunner, but all I said, she doesn't have a report from Bunner. So, and I just feel like if there are photos of the girls on the trail with an actual man behind them, that would have been front and center of this trial. So
Well,
I think that's not likely.
I remember when that photo first came out, we were all talking about it. For the first few months, constantly we were mistaking that image in the very beginning as a person when it was a pole or something out to block vehicles.
Yeah. No, I know what you're referring to. I think people were saying, yeah, does that look like a figure? But no, I kind of felt like, I feel like I agree with you on that, but I think what they're referring to, and all I was clarifying this to some extent, was it was something that was misheard at trial. Kind of like there are other things that we've misheard at trial that have subsequently been debunked with the transcripts, or clarified with the transcripts. So I don't believe there's any photos that the girls took on the phone that had a guy in the background.
But now if somebody got it wrong, would they log that they got that wrong, or would they just not include it? Sounds like what happened.
What do you mean? What do you mean somebody got it
like
wrong?
If one of the jurors thought that was a person, like we all did, and then it turns out they realized it wasn't, would they say, oh, this person thought it was a person, but then they didn't?
Oh, no, but it wasn't actually said at trial. I think so. I think it was actually one of the, like the people who were like taking notes had miswritten a note themselves.
Now, what if it was said at trial, but they didn't log it because it was wrong? They just didn't log them.
But you'd think that the defense would have picked up on that. I mean, because to me, as soon as I heard that, I mean, if there's a photo other than Bridge Guy video screenshots that has a guy in the background,
you're missing the point.
Front and center.
No, but at the time it happened, the defense probably would have picked up. Yes, forget it. You're right.
So that's why I think, and just because of the way they were saying 5 photos, 4 of which had him in the background, and they were like, but there's only 4 Instagram photos. I think we're merging 2 together. There are 4 Instagram photos, and then there are 5 screenshots. You actually see it if you look at All Eyes website where she's listed, the exhibits in order. So helpful because you can see there are 5 screenshots of the Bridge Guy video, and that then ties in with a photo of the girls with with a man behind them. 4 of them included him. That to me just sounds like the screenshots from the Bridge Guy video.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. And then there was something else that I just thought of as well just then. I'm always thinking of something. There's probably more, but I suppose I think those are probably the main points. Let me just have a quick look on my sheet again. My little notes here. I think that's all the main stuff. Yeah, I think that. Oh yes, last point, and then I will definitely stop. So the theory around there being more than one phone logged into Snapchat, you cannot log into 2 devices simultaneously on Snapchat. So yes, potentially if there's 2 devices, you could log out of your Snapchat, the other person logs into it, and vice versa. But it's kind of, I believe it would be pretty fiddly. I don't know for sure because I've never tried to do it. But yeah, I don't believe that photo was taken on somebody else's phone because they logged into the Snapchat temporarily. I mean, it's possible, anything's possible, but I think it's more likely that it was still Libby's phone because it matches with all the rest of the data.
Yeah, well, I'm not very I don't know anything about Snapchat, so I'm trying to not say as much.
Yeah, no, look, I can't say 100% that that's not, you couldn't just log out of Snapchat and log in on another device at the same time. I guess we could do an experiment with that, but I think that it's more likely that it was all logged in from Libby's phone, particularly given the coordinates and things. They match with the girls being together and Libby being the one taking those pictures. And one other thing that reminded me as well is that we talk about, morning activity on the apps that, I think there's been speak that Libby was talking to her mum in the morning, potentially talking to Anthony Shots and things like that. There is no indication on the Knowledge C data. It does look like the girls actually turn the phone off and have a sleep in the morning. That's, again, part of this Knowledge C data. You can see there's a point at which the phone powers off and on. Actually, let me just show you that, because that's actually something I came across after the last videos I did. But that doesn't mean necessarily she wasn't communicating maybe on the iPad, because, again, we don't have an extraction of the iPad. So it's possible, but it looks more like in that morning that they just had a sleep in because they stayed up late. But I'm gonna show you why I think that.
Did Libby have a computer at all at home, like a laptop or a desktop?
I'm not sure, but I think if we think the way she seems to communicate is through apps, that would be more likely. Back in those days, you wouldn't have apps on the computer, would you? I think you
Depends. I
can
think
now, maybe,
if you
but
had a Mac, if you had an Apple computer, it was probably more
yeah.
prevalent.
Okay. So what you can see is the phone is on all night, right? Because you can see screen. I'm pointing at the screen as though you can see me pointing, but you can't. Well, let's use the pointer. You can see screen on, screen off, screen on, screen off, right? And the battery going down. You see text messages coming in. That doesn't mean they were read then. It means they were read at some point. But
Yep.
basically, what you can see that the phone is on through the night. This is the night before they went to the trail. So this is the night of the 12th into the 13th. So where they're having the sleepover. But then you notice this. So she gets this text message, or two text messages from Tyler at 6:41. And it's really interesting because at 6:43, you see screen off, screen off. And you see they're two different terms used. Now, I looked this up, and I think I put a post somewhere about this, I think on the community page of the YouTube. So of the YouTube, you know what I mean. So what I'm guessing is that the girls hear, or Libby hears this message come in, and she's like, oh, this person does text a lot. We can see they text back and forth. So she turns the phone off.
I can understand. I understand this. If they're not two different things, they're just saying, because go back. It
Oh,
says
yep. I just realized that. Wait a minute. Yeah, there's
it's
multiple
saying
of them.
the same thing. No, but the one where the bottom one is saying the same
Yeah.
thing. What it's saying is it happened, and then this is the first time it happened.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
the
So
display
one's
is
user, one's
backlit,
display.
and this is the first time since after waking up this has happened. So it's the same thing.
Oh, okay. That makes sense,
Those are
actually. Yeah, because you're right.
that's
Actually,
one
now looking
thing.
at the phone is still on. Except until here. Notice this, right? At 6:53, there's a big gap then. Everywhere else there's been notifications. There's a gap of 4 hours. So I wonder if they turned the phone off for this few hours here, though. Can you see? Because it doesn't drop
Yep.
many percentage, and it's like got a 4-hour gap here, nearly.
Mm-hmm.
That's possible. Anyway, can't say for sure. Now that I realize, yeah, what you're saying there, they couldn't have been turning it on, off, on, off.
Now,
Yeah, I
wait,
don't know.
now, wait a second. No, but underneath though, it's saying the same thing in
Yeah,
gray and
that's what I
white.
meant.
So the gray and white underneath says the same thing, but it's not in black. Oh, because it's
Oh,
off and on.
yeah,
One's off and
that's
one's on.
yeah. There's something different going on there. I mean, potentially as well, could it be on Do Not Disturb or something?
No, what it's doing is acknowledging when it happens, and then it's saying this is the first time it's happened since it's woke, or it's the first time it's happened since it's been off or on.
So do you
So
think she's turning the phone on and off, or just a screen?
no, I just think when the backlight comes on, it's been sleeping, and
Yeah.
it's telling us
Okay.
if the backlight is coming on, or this is the first time it's gone off since it's been awake.
Okay.
So this is why we're getting confused,
Mm.
because the two things are the same thing except on and
Yeah.
off.
But you can see, like, from the pattern, it looks like they're pretty much asleep until here, 10:41, where then we start seeing this flurry of activity. Now, that doesn't mean she couldn't have been on her iPad in this time, but yeah,
Oh,
there's nothing
I
going on
know.
with the phone.
Well, yeah, they're sleeping, or she's laying in bed checking this, and then they fall back asleep for a couple hours. Makes sense.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? A lot of us do that. I do that all the time.
Yeah,
So,
especially if
yeah,
you're up all night too. As a kid, you think
exactly.
you can
Watch
make it all night,
Friends.
and then in the morning, you learn, hey, maybe I can't stay up all night. It's not that easy.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, yeah, I don't want to overinterpret something like I don't fully understand, but I think she clearly isn't communicating with anyone on the phone significantly in that morning period. Whether she's got an iPad as well next to her, we don't know. I don't understand why they would not have extracted or had an extraction from the iPad. I don't understand that. It's really unusual.
Sorry.
So yeah.
Okay. She does receive a text message, so she can't say she's not communicating because she may have read that message and just not replied.
Yeah,
But
no, I agree with you. I mean, she could have read it. We don't know because it has a red receipt. It doesn't tell us when
well,
she read it. But I suppose, yeah, I mean,
right.
potentially what we're seeing is
Well,
she's not responding to it.
right.
It's not
Also, I guess
outright.
the screen would come on regardless if she was looking at it or not. So she may
Yeah,
have seen it, she may have not. Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean, I wonder if she sees it and then, yeah, she's like, "Oh, I'm tired," and just like,
Yeah.
switches it back off and goes to sleep. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's hard to know because this is obviously not the only digital data attached to Libby. She has an iPad that has been messed around with really because, no one actually preserved it because they were fiddling around with it instead of actually preserving it. Kind of like with this phone where they turned it on and off and didn't worry about keeping the data about, like that wipes a lot of the, what's the word? I forget the word. There's a word for it, but it wipes some of the data that's, what's the word?
The
Lost it. Yeah, some
log.
of the more like some of the stuff that just it just disappears once you turn it back on and off again. So yeah, unfortunate again, terrible evidence handling. What a surprise.
Yep.
Anywho, I mean, I hope that's cleared up some of that stuff. I'm still strongly of the opinion that there isn't anything unusual with this data set. I'm actually of the opinion, to be honest, and I don't actually think, and this is just my theory now, this is now my own speculation. It's not about saying 100% from the data. I don't think Libby was necessarily communicating with any nefarious people. I mean, we see Tyler come up, who I'm assuming is one of their known friends. We see, yes, the Snapchat. Who's she Snapchatting? Maybe it's someone else, but the ones on the way to the trail, I think, are Brie Wilbur, which isn't suspicious. That's a friend. And I don't know about who she might be snapping, in that tiny little interval between when they get out of the car and the 207 photo. But yeah, I think that it could be just as likely that all of this is innocent communication and the person or people who were planning on committing this crime were watching from afar. And that's why they weren't scared about the phone being caught, because they knew they weren't communicating directly with her, but they were able to access through some other source, which we can all do when we're putting things on stories. Other people can see that and someone else nefarious has found that. I mean, I had a case, I heard of a case that was someone like a friend of a friend, where she went out to a party and her older daughter went out to a party and posted something or was there. I think it's actually before social media though, but she was at the party, so the offender knew that the other daughter was home alone and broke into the house and murdered her. So sometimes it's not the person who was intended to see the message, but somebody else might have. Like, if my kids had Snapchat, which they don't, but if they did, I can see their Snapchat, can't I?
Well, yes. Yeah, for sure.
And so if I wanted to, if I were some sadistic person, and I definitely would be a forensic unicorn, right? But if I were, I mean, then I'd be able to access that information through just looking at my child's phone. I mean, I've definitely spied on people through my sister's phone before, not to do bad things, but, like if someone who I'm
No.
not friends with anymore, and I'll be like, my sister's still friends with them, let me see what they're doing. We've
Right.
all done that.
Right.
Maybe we haven't all done it, but I have definitely. And, you can do that. I mean, I know I've certainly heard a lot of people do that. So I wonder who was.
You know what my biggest thing is how like back in 2017 maybe you couldn't do this, but now you can and stuff. So like what
Yeah,
version in the iOS and
yeah.
like just because we can do it now doesn't mean you could do it then and kind of thing. So
Yeah, but I can
there's all
remember back
that.
to 2017 should be, and I've always been a massive social media user. Like I've always loved it. I'm actually probably now I use it a lot less than I did. And back in 2017, though, if you have a story, whether it was Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat, I think Snapchat was the first one to sort of start that whole phenomenon. Yeah, like the fact of the matter is the story is public to anyone who follows you. Sometimes you can make it public in general, but even if it was to people who followed her in a small town, I still feel like there would be connections, a sibling, a friend, a parent, and I'm not going to, hypothesize who those people might be. I do believe this was planned. I believe, that suspicious car parked there all day, and the coordination it took to be there with them, to get them where there was nobody else around. I mean, I think it took planning and obviously the way it was perpetrated. Right.
Well,
I definitely don't think it's
on one hand,
up on them,
on the one hand, it's hard to believe that somebody would just do this off the cuff. But on the other hand, it's hard to believe that somebody would do this and do it planned and then have their car parked so far away too.
Yeah, but I believe the car. So I don't believe, the car backed into the CPS building. My opinion on that, if anyone's watched my video, is it could be Rick's car and it's innocent. It's the other old car, but I don't believe that old car is the car that the perpetrator is coming in. I think it's a lookout because that is a perfect lookout spot for that trail. You can see people going in past you to the Mears. You can see people on the Freedom Bridge. I think it's a lookout. But I mean, silly to use a car like that for a lookout too. I mean, pretty dumb.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of. So maybe the person was sitting there waiting, and I don't know if the times all work up. But maybe they saw all the other girls and he went for them, but then got there and they weren't there, or he passed them and then Abby and them were there. And
yep, you haven't listened to my Tale of Two Cars video, have you, Shibby?
Well, no, because you're on the other side of the world, 14 hours ahead, and you're doing it when I go to bed.
Well, you should be listening to them later. You should be
But
on the replay.
Honestly, the replays, I like the chat. I like the live action chat too.
I get it. But yeah, my theory is that where that old car is parked, according to Brad Heath, it's not at the CPS. It's actually between the CPS and the curve in the road. And that exact spot, if you look at it, like there are people who walk from the CPS to the trailhead, you can see at that spot, you get a really clear view of the Freedom Bridge. And you would also be able to see cars coming in from town to the Mears. Right. I mean, you wouldn't be able to see cars coming from the other way, but yeah, you get a good enough view that you could see if someone was headed from the Freedom Bridge towards the
bridge. If somebody enters in that area, they park this on this side, they're going to come back. So it's kind of like you've got them trapped almost. Yeah. Although you can get out, but it's more or less a trap.
And if that car isn't suspicious, why have they never come forward? You know what I mean? Because everybody else has come forward. And I don't think it's suspicious. I know people will say I'm cherry picking here. I don't think it's suspicious that Rick didn't come forward if he did park at the CPS. Because he already went forward and told people, he'd already told Dan Dillon where he parked, and he doesn't know the name of anything in that town.
He doesn't know they lost it. Because, I mean, how can you say for all those people, like if he went to talk to them, I'd be like, I can't keep going back and bugging them. They're going to hate me.
Well, exactly.
I already gave them a very detailed description. He
watched Dateline and stuff, and he would have been like, they're going to think I'm inserting myself in this investigation. I'm too much,
Like I gave them all my phone number, my IMEI number. They have everything. I can't go back.
And they've never talked to me again because I didn't see anything, so I don't need to worry. Exactly, because he didn't. He didn't see anything. So I mean, yeah, I know a lot of people. Again, this is why I'm unpopular, because I go against the main theory. He does say.
Don't say that. It's in your head. It's in your head. That's in your head. You're
not unpopular in general, but I'm unpopular with some of the other big voices in this because they have a very different narrative. I think obviously I'm super unpopular because people are here, but that CPS, he does mention he parks at Old Camden Road, but sometimes he parks at the little building where they made a gravel path. That is the CPS building. Now, whether he parked there on that day or not, whether he was driving Kathy's car or not, it doesn't really matter because I don't think he's guilty either way. I don't think that's any smoking gun anyway, because we know the Hoosier Harvester footage is bloody stupid.
We've made someone mad here. One sec. We made someone mad in chat. C10 days. She says, I'm out. You all are 2 years behind. Sad. Wake up. Please don't be a sheep. Want to elaborate?
I'm not being a sheep. I literally go the opposite way of most people. I'm Miss Contrary.
What do you mean we're 2 years behind? What are they talking about?
It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay because
Okay.
everybody look, people have their own opinions. I mean, people get
No, no,
angry at me and say I'm making up conspiracies and making things up, and I say I don't get angry, but I say other people I feel are leaning too heavily towards conspiracy. It's
well,
okay if they want to disagree. It's okay. I just want people to,
no,
hear
no,
me
but
out.
they're
If you
saying
still disagree, that's okay.
but their previous comment is saying that we should move on, and you don't have to be
Okay.
here.
Well, you know what? I'm probably not going to move on because I just don't, because
Right.
that's just my
But
personality, and
they're
that's
telling,
fine though. But if that's what they think we should do, let them.
no,
Let them. It
no.
doesn't.
Well, they don't need to tell us. Go, just leave. They don't want
It's
to be here.
okay, Shibi. This is mild. Like
No, you're too
when you
kind.
put yourself out there, remember all the things I've been
Nope.
called: dumbass, moron.
Well,
Um,
that's different.
no,
They're
it's
saying we
not.
should
Like
move
they're
on.
all personal. These are just people having a difference of opinion. It doesn't matter.
Then to call us a sheep to wake up.
I'd
I
rather
mean,
be
I'm
a
not a
sheep
sheep.
than a dumbass.
Well, I'm neither. So
Well, me
that's
too. I don't want to be called either. I'm not a sheep. That's the whole
wait.
reason that
But
people call
wait,
me a
you're getting too
dumbass
kind
because I
here
don't
because
agree with
that,
them.
to me, that person is saying like we're wasting our time talking about this. You know, this is boring. Let's talk about like they can start a thing and we'll come and watch you and see if we like it. This is what we're doing. So enjoy it, or you don't have to be here.
It's
And
okay.
that's not
That's
being
okay.
rude. No. Yes, it is.
Do you know what, Shibi? I've been telling you about this for months that people are rude in this space towards each other. But you know what? I'm like, I'm so over it now because, I've been called so many things. Throw more at me. I don't mean the sheep is mild. It doesn't matter. I'm not, I know I'm not because otherwise I would be way more popular if I agreed with everybody else. But I don't. I
Well,
can't.
I
I'm
mean,
this
I'm not.
contrary. I know people think I'm very contrary because I'll always be like, I don't mean to argue, but and they're like, you do mean to argue. I'm like, no, I don't. I can't agree with you. I just can't.
Uh,
I'm sorry.
David Rogers showed up. Hi, David.
Anyway, look, guys, this is divisive stuff, and I know people are going to disagree, and people are still going to say the same things that they already believe,
Mm,
and that's okay because
well,
we're all entitled to our own opinion. I do
okay.
think I
So,
do a lot of research.
but listen, that's not a disagreement, though. They're telling us to stop talking about it. It's one thing to have a disagreement and talk. This is telling us we shouldn't be here talking about this, and I
Okay,
have a problem
well,
with that.
you
That's
know
not
what? You
okay.
can do it. You can do a Doug Carter and say, "Well, if you don't like this, move away."
That well, that's different because that's telling people to leave their country,
I
but they
know,
don't
look,
have to be here if they don't like this. Why are they telling us to stop?
yeah, guys, don't tell us and go. No, I'm only joking. This is what I do with my kids sometimes. So when I'm trying to fake being angry, I like do this, like, "That's it. I'm gonna smack your bummy,"
I mean,
and
it's
I've never
one thing to
smacked my kids.
disagree, but that's not disagreeing. It's another thing to say to stop doing what you're doing because I don't enjoy it. Well, we
Just stop
enjoy
it,
it.
Jimmy. I don't enjoy what you're doing.
I enjoy this very much, so I'm going to loop and loop and loop.
Well, I mean, anyone who tells me to stop would realize that the more you tell me to stop, the more I go. Like
Right.
I've got louder the more that people go, "Oh, we don't believe you. You're talking rubbish." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let me talk some more rubbish." And I don't do it
So
to be
let me try,
annoying. It's just because I can't stop.
let, let me try this. Okay, can you please carry on? I would like for you to carry on. I'm
See
doing
what?
reverse psychology.
Look,
Reverse
guys. Look,
psychology.
you know what? You know what, Shibi? I think. Look, I think that I have a good filter. I think you do too. Because sometimes
Hmm,
inside my head, when I think someone's saying something that I don't agree with, I'm like, just stop, but I just wouldn't say it. The
right.
reality is, we can all feel that if we hear someone talking and we don't agree with them, we're like, just stop, I'm sick of it. But I just wouldn't say it.
Right.
That's all.
Well, I mean, I find that jamming up the chat where they can just leave instead of it's like when people are mad, I'm gonna leave instead of just leaving. Like they're just trying to make a scene. I feel.
Anyway, you know what, Shibi? This is the second time we've ended on a sour note. I've got to go in a
Mhm.
minute because I've got a meeting, but
No,
it's
actually,
it's okay.
I think today went really well. So I think we're leaving on a
I
good note.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And thank you for
Mhm.
joining me because it helps me to not feel like I'm just yabbering on at an empty
No.
screen. Because like I can
Hey,
see people chatting, but like it's different talking to someone and saying, does this make sense what I'm saying? Because sometimes I don't know if I'm making sense. Like even Ash will be like, can you just slow down? What did you say? Like, like people are always saying that to me. Can you slow down? So yeah.
no, today I was on more on my ball today. I
You
understood
were. You
most
were
of what you
great.
said.
You're a good partner. You were fine the other day too. I think you're just stressing about it
No,
necessarily.
I you know what I realized I ate so many chocolate bars because I quit eating sugar for like a year or two, and then on Halloween night I ate a ton of chocolate bars and I had so much left over, so I must have been coming down off of a sugar rush or something.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
I felt
That makes
horrible. I
sense.
felt horrible Saturday night.
Well, I look forward to seeing everybody's comments in the chat because I've only like caught little glimpses of them along the way. So I will read back over them. For some reason, it takes ages, Shibby, because we've talked about this before, for the chat
Hmm.
comments to come up on my channel. I've seen on
Yeah,
other channels it's
yeah.
like immediate, but no, it takes a while, but it will come up. So I will keep StreamYard open, and if you keep
You know
StreamYard
what
open,
it
you
is?
can read back over them.
They, they have to convert from Australian to English,
Exactly, exactly.
or something's going on. Yeah, it's only on your channel because other people,
Oh, it's
it's there
something
within the hour.
suspicious. We better
Yep.
find out who's doing this. I bet you it's the ISP.
It's your
Oh,
Australian UK. It's your Australian UK accent throwing the algorithm off,
maybe,
confusing the.
maybe.
That's
Well,
it.
have a wonderful night for all of
Same to you.
the Northern Hemisphere people, and for the Southern Hemisphere people, enjoy the rest of your day. And I've got to get to a meeting, but thank you, Shibi. And we'll be
Hey.
back because I am really getting like fired up for this forensic unicorn situation. I was watching Russell Williams' interrogation and learning more
Ooh.
about him,
Yeah.
and I can tell you why he's nothing like Rick Allen. So just watch this space,
So,
everybody.
so that's what you're doing now. That's what you're doing now. Because I'll update myself on that too. So I'll be ready.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely do. So look into Russell Williams. I mean, and the
Hmm.
Catholic Supply guy. I'll send you the notes because we're gonna
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, we really want that one to me because I've definitely not been spending as much time on the direct advocacy for Rick because we've been doing more of like just the decoding and understanding the data, which isn't against Rick, but it's not like really advocacy for Rick himself. Whereas the forensic unicorn one I'm excited about because it's getting back to really sticking up for Rick and helping people see who he was and why. Yes, it's possible that unicorns exist, but highly, highly,
Mhm.
highly unlikely. So watch this
Very
space.
unlikely. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Is Russell Williams also the comedian, or is that no Russell Peters?
No. No. No.
Right.
No.
No, I knew they weren't the
Uh,
same person, but I'm like, have they got the same
mhm.
name? No, that's Russell Peters. Somebody's gonna get hurt. He's
Nope.
Canadian too,
He
isn't
was
he?
a yes, but this Russell guy was a top dog in the Canadian
I
Army.
know. He's
Mm.
like just watching the interrogation straight away. It's chalk and cheese from Rick.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm going to explain all of that because there's so many reasons that Rick does not match any offenders. I know. I'm sorry, it's going to be like I don't like that. I'm like, but I know we're kind of good with agreeing to disagree on this. But yeah, they don't
All right.
happen. Rick doesn't happen, but I'm gonna really, really drill down to that and explain. That's why I keep postponing it because I want it to be like on point.
I'll be ready.
Okay. Because we're going to be like
Cool.
totally showing that we're full on Team Rick because I am. Debunking this data does not make me not Team Rick. It makes me Team Truth, and Team Truth helps Team Rick. So, and Team
Mhm.
Abby and Libby, and Team Justice. And Team Kindness. So, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day, night. I really appreciate all the people that stuck around. And I know even when you don't agree that you're so warm and lovely. So thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye. Bye,
Awesome.
Shibi.
Bye. Night.